can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
Fans, in this video, we're going to discuss the Second Amendment. Before we can go in depth about this hot-button issue, I feel like we should read the full text of the amendment. Ali?
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
I like shooting stuff. Live by the gun, die by the gun. Nah, I mean, cuz.
On the real though, let's get this video started.
For our video, I interviewed two people, both of whom were friends of my family, to represent the different sides of the Second Amendment debate. First, I interviewed our friend Ruth Kraft, a lifelong Democrat proponent of tighter regulations on gun owners.
Josh also interviewed a lifelong Republican and a gun owner named Mark Jackson. He also joined Mark at his gun club to learn about gun owners and their beliefs, as well as enjoy some target shooting.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask our family friend Mark Jackson a few questions about his opinions about guns and the Second Amendment. What kind of background do you have in guns? Are you a member of any organizations related to gun ownership and the Second Amendment?
I'm a member of two private gun clubs, and I'm also a director for Michigan Gun Owners, which is a grassroots Second Amendment advocacy organization.
Do you feel protecting the legality of guns is important? Why?
The Second Amendment is the amendment that defends and protects all the other parts of our Constitution.
Do you feel, what if any regulations do you feel there should be on gun ownership?
I don't feel that the U.S. Constitution, as originally drafted, contemplated restrictions on gun ownership. However, I don't have a problem with background checks for gun purchases or age limits for handgun purchases.
What about for rifle purchases or other long guns?
With the proper training, I have hunted with 10 and 12-year-olds that are safe for gun handlers than many of their counterparts that are wartime veterans.
What about automatic weapons, or let's say something like, probably not, but a hand grenade, something like that sort of thing? Is there any reason?
I don't consider a hand grenade a firearm. And I don't see anything in the Second Amendment that makes a distinction between a semi-auto or an automatic.
So you feel that automatic weapons should be legal?
Yes.
With the same regulations as non-automatic weapons?
With no regulations on ownership, regulations only on lawful purchase. Criminals are the ones that violate the law, not the gun owners.
Joe also recorded a song just for this video.
You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money while sitting at a table. There'll be enough time for counting when the dealing is done.
Hey boys, they're proposing an amendment outlawing guns in urban areas.
They took our guns! Go!
Where you going, boys?
Okay.
I'm interviewing our family friend, Ruth Kraft, about her feelings about guns and the Second Amendment. Why is the Second Amendment important? If you think it isn't, why not?
Well, I think that all of the amendments that comprise the Bill of Rights are important, and they're all there because they were thought to be important. And I think that the right to keep and bear arms is an important amendment, but having a right to do something doesn't mean that you can just do whatever you want. I mean, I have a right to own a car, but I still have to be licensed, etc. And if I don't keep up my end of the bargain, if I'm driving and drinking, if I'm getting in a lot of trouble, then maybe I wouldn't have that right.
Why do you feel the way you do about guns?
Well, first, you know, guns are, they're lethal weapons. They're obviously useful if you're, say, a hunter or something, but I think they have sort of a limited use, and I'm opposed to war. So I wouldn't, you know, I think that they have a usefulness, but it should be fairly constrained.
The Second Amendment has been the subject of so much debate over recent years about whether it protects a right of individuals to own guns for personal protection or a collective right of state militias to organize and to form without federal interference. But what I found in doing my research for Gunfight was that the right to bear arms is one of our oldest, most established constitutional rights regardless of the Second Amendment. Every state has its own constitution, and almost every one of those states protects the right to bear arms in its state constitution. Clearly a right that's not associated with militia service. Some of those state provisions go back to the original founding. Many of them came in the early 1800s and mid-1800s as states joined the Union. They added these provisions into their constitutions. Well, the Founding Fathers very firmly believed in civilian ownership of firearms. They didn't believe in a standing army. They were afraid that a standing army would be used corruptly by the president or whoever was governing to run roughshod over the liberties of the people, and thought that a guarantee of democratic liberty was in an armed populace.
The gun lobby envisions an America where guns are carried anywhere, anytime, into schools, even kindergarten classrooms, onto college campuses, inside churches, into restaurants, bars, sports stadiums, even into national parks. The National Rifle Association and its wholly owned allies in Congress see an America where there is literally nowhere we can take our families and be free from the guns. Now, this dark vision of guns everywhere is held by a distinct minority of our citizens. But they are vocal, they are active, and they are intimidating to far too many weak-kneed politicians.
Bring along the boys in town. Like y'all, let them in this now. I don't talk, I don't laugh, I just frown. From the eagle to the chopper, let guns sound. Let guns sound, let guns sound.